This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. Welcome you to the Happy Trails Annual Meeting. I'd like for Jill to do, first of all, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could join me in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag Thank you very much. Good. So Jill, call to order, roll call, establish a quorum and homeowner statement, please.
Board President Barbara Fugelberg.
Present.
Board Vice President Ron Woodward.
Present.
Board Secretary Marilyn Sorensen.
Present.
Board Treasurer Mike Rugland. Is he online? Okay, he's
Yes.
present.
I'm online.
Thank you, Mike. Board of Directors Steve Deal.
Present.
Board of Director Jim Meering.
Here.
Golf Course Representative Jason McKinney.
Here.
Quorum has been established. Homeowner statement period. Please turn off your camera and mute your audio. Please use the chat option for your questions. Questions should be addressed to the concerns of the motion before the board takes final action on the item under discussion on the table. Negative comments directed at the residents, employees of the association, or the board of directors will not be allowed.
Thank you. And Jill, next, would you do the proof of meeting notice?
A notice of the annual meeting was sent out with your ballots, and it's the Happy Trails Community Association, an Arizona nonprofit corporation, will hold an annual meeting on Tuesday, February 15th, 2022 at 1 p.m. This meeting will be held at Happy Trails 17200 West Bell Road, Surprise, Arizona. This is in compliance with Article 2, Section 2 of the bylaws of Happy Trails Community Association. Items on the agenda will be as follows: Pledge of Allegiance, roll call, establish a quorum, election of members of the board, proof of notice, approval of the 2021 annual meeting minutes, reports of officers, reports of committees, unfinished business, new business, and adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first thing on our agenda here is the approval of the February 16th, 2021 minutes. Can I get a motion, please?
I move that we accept those minutes from February 16, 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from any member of the board? Seeing none, any questions, comments for any members, residents in attendance? Seeing none, and I see there's nothing in the chat. All in favor of approving the minutes from the February 16th, 2021 annual meeting, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mike. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the board's treasurer's financial report. So Mike Rugland, you're up. We might even let you turn your camera on. Or should we not?
No, I'm dressed. The Treasury Report Annual Meeting, February 15th, 2022. Management and the Budget Committee have been working diligently to assure Happy Trails remains financially sound. They have recommended and the Board of Directors has approved an increase in dues for the 22-23 fiscal year, which begins May 1st. They have also approved a capital improvement fee of $128.50 or $257,128.50 for the fiscal year 2022 and 2023 to pay for a partial roof replacement on the town center. Monthly dues are as follows: $188.46 per lot, $216.06 per billet, which includes $27.60 for landscape assessments, a decrease of $9.90. Total operating revenue for the 2022-23 budget year is $3,927,593.71. Total expenses projected for 22-23 budget, $3,933,558.87. The reserve transfer to the reserve fund is $900,690.12. Although many improvements have been completed over the past years, there are still numerous projects and upgrades needed to keep this resort up to standards. The asset improvement fee that passed will help keep our reserve dollars at an acceptable level, but we will still have many challenges ahead to keep spending in an acceptable level. Expense level are what keep our expense levels are what keep our resort operating throughout the year. We continue to try to overcome raising costs of wages, material, repairs, water, power, electricity, and we're still, I forgot to mention one thing. I should have said trash in there too. We are looking to means to reduce costs and utilities. We as a board of directors and management staff are working very hard to keep costs down and make Happy Trails a great place to live and play. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve on the board of directors and your treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And we certainly appreciate all of the contributions that you've given here to Happy Trails. We're sure there'll be more. Next thing on the agenda is the report from the president. Mine's a couple pages long, so good thing you got a seat. You might want a pillow. If you nod off, that's okay too. So I just wanted to highlight a number of things that we believe we're able to accomplish in this last year. Certainly have a lot of things still on our agenda to do. The homeowners approved the over 30 changes to the CCNRs and bylaws that bring our governing documents current. We needed the majority of homeowners to approve those changes and received over 53% approval, much to Glenn Brower's success. Appreciate that. We also the board benefits from the work that's being done by all of our designated committees. And I want to give you just a brief snapshot, certainly not everything that they've done, but some of the actions that taken by the committees that support Happy Trails and guide the board of directors. Starting with the budget committee, they've developed a scorecard that we use, that they help to facilitate tracking the miscellaneous reserve spending. Through Ken Cook on the committee, he's been updating an interactive spreadsheet that allows for a 5-year projection of funds needed to support the operating fund and the reserve fund. And this last year, they were able to recommend a transfer of $375 of excess equity and place that into the reserve fund. The building grounds and maintenance, their list of what they've accomplished this year and still that they're working on is significant. I'm just going to give a couple of highlights. They have oversight on the roofing project, which is over $800,000, and the asphalt projects this last year was $1.5 million. They are currently overseeing the implementation of the updated telecommunications system that will expand our Wi-Fi capabilities within the resort and a number of other things, and that should pay for itself over a 3-year period of time. And they are working hard on developing strategies for controlling the trash and recycling area. The next committee is communications. And again, just a brief snapshot of what they've offered for us is that they've really streamlined the content on Neighbor Network website, so it's easier for residents to locate information. They've assisted Patrol and Safety Committee with writing clear instructions for the gate access application. And they've developed a structure for a new owner orientation and facilitated the first presentation. The Design Review Committee and Compliance, they support over 60 new applications for improvements each month. They've expanded the capacity to monitor the community for compliance with design guidelines and rules and had a significant increase in alerting homeowners when violations are noted. The Elections Committee has led another successful campaign for election of new board officers, which you'll be meeting in a minute. Patrol Safety Committee has submitted recommendations to changes related to Sunday deliveries, which should be something that all residents will be happy about. They continue to maintain the safety-related resources in the information center, and they've identified opportunities for improved security safety within the community. So the committees have done an awful lot more than that, but that's just a brief snapshot. Over this last year, we've continued to see how the asset improvement fee, which was implemented a couple years, continues to be a source of revenue that helps stabilize our reserve fund and allows us to support the assets that add value to your home values and enjoyment of the amenities and clubs. Since its approval, we've received over $1.2 million collected from property sales. Withdrawals from that account have been two things. The board approved about $700,000 to be used to supplement the funds needed for the repair and replacement of the roofs and the asphalt projects. Secondly, because of the change in the CCNRs, we now have 55 homeowners will qualify for a refund of that fee, and this will result in about $108,000 being taken out of that account. Another thing that the board did this year is we adjusted the salaries of our employees to attract and retain the talent needed to maintain our community. As a result, we were able to attract a new landscaping supervisor, which allowed us to not outsource that committee or that function. We led a town meeting to discuss the future of the chuck wagon. Our focus remains that this is the heart of the community where friendships are made. The board has sought advice from professional food service experts to help guide and identify options. In the meantime, we're delighted that Cindy Evans and Becky Wells have come forward to open the chuck wagon. Our legal team was successful in getting the United States Post Office to agree to allow residents' mail to be forwarded. The new term is redirected when you leave the resort. That was no small feat. Our management team continues to work hard to collect the money owed the association. The number of lots who are behind in their payments has dropped by almost 70% since 2017. Less than 4% of the lots are behind in their payments. The actual delinquency rate is 3.0%. The industry standard is anything less than 6%, so that's good. The board is taking aggressive action on accounts behind in their payments. We currently have 3 properties where we've initiated foreclosure proceedings in this fiscal year. The downside to that, though, is that our legal expenses associated with delinquency have increased. The key issues in our work plan for this upcoming year, and again, it is certainly not a complete list, is that we'll continue to seek options for the chuck wagon. We will be evaluating the HomeCo contract, our management contract, for renewal. We'll complete the upgrades in our infrastructure that benefit residents and their homeowner values, such as telecommunication systems, roofs, and roads. We'll be targeting opportunities to decrease expenses to meet and exceed budget targets. We will be starting the evaluation of the review of the rules and regulations to assure that they are current, relevant, and enforceable. We'll be reviewing platforms for the htresort.com website to improve flow of information for the residents. We also will be identifying potential impact of the water rights work that's going on and seek strategies to mitigate the impact if there is a change in 2013 in the amount of water that we might be allocated. We'll be initiating the golf course committee as determined by the change in the bylaws, and we'll be initiating the survey for the residents to begin helping us with the long-range planning process. So that's just a small subset of the things that are on our work plan. Our work is not done, and we certainly appreciate your continued support and assistance for it to be done. Before I stop, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the members of the board who are gaining their freedom today. The common element in each of these individuals is their commitment to this community and all of the residents. They worked hard to make the board better and the community better. Just a reminder, this last year we lost Jeff Cousins. Jeff was a huge asset to the board and the budget and the BG&M committee with his vast knowledge. He pushed us to continue to assure this community will remain viable, and we miss him. Second, Mike Ruglin's leadership on all things infrastructure, whether it's buildings, roads, or landscaping, has significantly added to the homeowner value. He'll be missed, but we're sure he'll pop up somewhere. He's not about to just sit home and eat bonbons, I can assure you of that. Third, Jim Marion has been on the board for over 8 years and stepping up recently to fill the position vacated when Jeff passed away. Jim has a wonderful demeanor, a sense of humor, but most of all, he has the utmost of love for Happy Trails and desire to keep the happy and happy trails. Each of us have benefited by his sense of history into this community and his desire to always do the right thing. And lastly, based on the change in the bylaws, the golf course representative, Jason McKinney, will also be given his freedom. I want to acknowledge that Jason has been diligent in his commitment in being a board member for all the years. You know, he may not know this, but the bylaws never really outline a consequence if he did not attend the meetings. But he's always been here, except for a few excused absence. And he didn't just warm a seat while he was here. We appreciated his expertise on landscaping issues, golf cart leases, water issues, and we're forever in debt to that. So on behalf of the board, Jason, we just want to let you know how much we appreciate your being on the board, your time here. You've been on the board longer than anybody here. And we look forward to even a better relationship with you as we start the new golf course committee. So thank you very much.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, could I have the floor for just about 7 hours?
Okay.
Yes, I've been on the board a while. I've served under 3 managers, Beth McWilliams, some of you remember her, Michelle Phillips, and currently Jill McGregor. My time on the board, I was fortunately or unfortunately the president for 4 years and the vice president for 1. And in that time, I served with Jerry Ponemus, Jim Wyman, Karen Bland, Lynn Gray, Kay Egley, Don Phelps, Glenn Brower, Marlon Parker, Bill Rhodes, Carol Funk, Lauren Hansen, Lynn Hart, Barbara Fugelberg, Mike Rugland, Marilyn Saracen, Ron Woodward, and Steve Deals. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. That's the last thing on the agenda before we adjourn is the election committee chairperson presenting us with the election results. So Vicki.
Yes, I'm Vicki Griffiths. I'm the election chairperson, and the report on the 2022 election, we had 6 qualified applicants for this year's election, which is great. The results from the counting of the ballots were sent out to the homeowners at around 3 p.m. on Friday and are available also on the HTCA website. They are Marie Besham. Would you like to stand, Marie? With 674 votes. Thank you. And Steve Deal with 609 votes. Becca Paulson with 638. And Roberta Ernst with 560 votes. These are your new board members. The report is there were 6 different write-in candidates, each with 1 vote. The total validated envelopes were 948. 42 envelopes were declared invalid according to the Arizona state law. The reasons for this, so that maybe you can understand for next year, 9 were invalid because they were duplicates. 18 were invalid because the envelope was not filled out properly. 3 were invalid because they are not the owner of record. 2 were invalid because more than 1 lot was listed on the envelope. 6 were invalid due to no envelope. 4 had checks or age verification in them and no ballot. There were 16 invalid ballots. 6 of these ballots voted for more than 4 people. 4 had no ballots when opening the envelope. 6 were spoiled by crossing out things, scribbling all over it, having fun on that ballot, I guess. Because of the change in the CC&Rs, the 3 highest vote getters will serve a 3-year term, and the 4th will serve a 2-year term. Thank you, candidates, and thank you to all of you and the election committee for helping in this.
Thank you, Vicki. For those of you who have never sat in on the counting of the elections, it's something that if you did, you'd be very impressed. They really are sticklers to detail, which is something that you really want in that process. And thank you and your entire committee and all the support that you had for it. Okay, the last thing on this part of the agenda is an adjournment of this portion of the annual meeting. After we adjourn, we'll take a few minutes. The retiring board members will leave and we'll ask the new board members come up and then we'll follow the second part of it. So can I get a motion to adjourn? Okay. Can I get a second? Anyone want to stay here? All right, all in favor, say aye. Okay, thank you.
That's not blonde, but it works. That's you.
I'm sitting next to you.
Well, it's been the other way. You've been there and I've been here. Alphabetical. I've never.
Okay. Okay, so I'd like to call the business meeting of the Happy Trails Community Association for February 15th, 2022 to order. Jill, could you do the honors again of the roll call, establishing a quorum, and your usual spiel?
Board of Director Barbara Fugelberg,
Here.
Board of Director Ron Woodward,
Here.
Board of Director Marilyn Sorensen,
Here.
Board of Director Steve Deal,
Here.
Board of Director Becca Paulson. Here. Board of Director Marie Besham. Here. Board of Director Roberta Ernst. Ernest? Mr. Ernest. Thank you, sorry. Homeowner statement period. Please turn off your camera and mute your audio. Also, please use the chat options for your questions. Questions should be addressed to the concerns of the motion before the board takes formal action on the item under formal discussion on the table. Negative comments directed at residents, employees of the association, or the board of directors will not be allowed. Thank you. Yes, you need to go on and ask for a nomination.
I think they should have made this on the bottom floor. Hi again, I'm Vicki Griffiths, the election chairman. And we're going to be conducting the election results for the different board members. Do I hear any nominations for president?
I nominate Barbara Fugelberg to be president of the board.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Do we hear any other nominations? Any more?
Move that the nominations close.
Okay. So we have a president. Barbara Fugelberg will be our president of the board of directors.
We need to vote. We
Pardon
need to
me?
vote.
We need a vote.
Raise
Okay.
hand. All in
We need a
favor.
vote for, I'm new at this, guys. Okay. We need a vote for president of the association for the board of directors. And we're going to do this.
Everybody agreed to her. You don't have anybody other than her, so it can be just an agreement. That's it. Only if you have two different people. That's my understanding.
Vicky, typically what we do is if there's two, then we do a silent vote. But if there's just one, then it's all in favor.
Okay, so are we all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody?
Any opposed?
Okay, our next position is for vice president.
I nominate Ron Woodward.
For vice president of the board.
I nominate Ron Woodward for vice president.
Second.
Any other nominations?
I'd nominate Roberta Ernest for vice president. Second.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, so we'll have a silent vote. Jill, would you like to? Okay, 5 for Ron and 2 for Roberta. So it looks like Ron Woodward, you are our vice president for the upcoming year. Thank you. Okay, do we have nomination for secretary? Any nominations?
Okay. Like to nominate Marilyn Sorensen.
I'll second that.
Do we have any other nominations? No other nominations? Can we have a vote on Marilyn Sorensen for secretary?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
So Marilyn will be our secretary for the upcoming year again. Thank you. And now treasurer. Do we have any nominations for treasurer?
I nominate Becca Paulson.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Moves the nominations be closed.
Okay. Can I hear a vote?
All in favor, say
All
aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Becca will be our new treasurer.
Yay.
Yay. I think my job's done.
Thank you very much, Vicki. Move on. We have some housekeeping things that we take care of at this portion of the meeting. And the first thing is to establish committees. So I will make a motion that the following committees be established for the upcoming year: the Budget Committee, Building Grounds and Maintenance Committee, Communications Committee, Design Review Committee, the Elections Committee, Patrol Safety Committee, and the Golf Course Committee. Can I get a second?
I second.
Any discussion on those committees? They're the same as we have with the addition of the Golf Course Committee. All in favor of those, excuse me, any comments from the residents? Seeing none, and there's no comments in the chat. All in favor of those committees as outlined being established for the upcoming year? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is established banking authorization. I'll make a motion that the following members of the board be authorized to sign the checks, and that would include the officers of myself, Barbara Fugleberg, the vice president, Ron Woodward, the secretary, Marilyn Sorensen, and most importantly, the treasurer, Roberta Paulson. We also ask that Linda Johnson, the staff person, remain on there. So there's my motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Barb,
Yes.
are any of them year rounders?
Yes, Marilyn is
Okay.
year round,
I'm year round.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
and Ron maybe,
Yes.
if his RV doesn't get fixed. Okay, so we've had a motion and a second. Any comments from the other board members? Residents? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion of people outlined, all the officers and Linda Johnson having authorization for banking. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, passes. Last thing, next thing on the agenda is the meeting schedule. Jill, do we actually need a motion on this?
The only difference is I changed the February meeting back to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So it's just standing as normal.
Okay. So typically there are regularly scheduled board meeting in February in the past sometimes butts up against the Quilt Club's quilt show, which is one of their big fundraisers. So depending upon, and they usually have it around Valentine's Day. Sometimes that meeting changes to earlier in the morning, but next year it's close enough apart. We won't have to worry about that. So the meeting schedule is as will be posted typically, with the town meetings being the first Thursday of the month at 10:30 in the morning. The board meetings the second Thursday of the month at 1 p.m. in the ballroom. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm already messing up my agenda. Okay. Okay. We have any no old business to conduct? The new business is the board members now need to sign their board members' code of conduct and sign the social media policy that's in their packet. So if you'd now take the time to do that. For those of you in attendance, the board conduct says all sorts of things, but in essence, it says being a good team player and doing everything they can to support you. And you're not allowed to give us any money or anything like that to influence our vote. Typical things. And if you do it, you have to give up your firstborn child, which some people may want to do. Mine was an Irish setter though, so I don't think that would count. So if you take the time to sign that, and then they'll pick that up. Hold on. Copies of the code of conduct are always on the website for you to review. And the social media policy in essence says that we do not engage on Facebook and other forms of social media. All right, we'll call that done. And no, I'm looking at that. Next thing on the agenda is variances. There are none. And any announcements? The only announcement that we have is that the board is continuing to have we're listening sessions. The next one will be this Thursday because they are typically the third Thursday of the month. We'll have two sessions. One will be at 10 o'clock in the Chuck Wagon on Thursday, and the second one on that same day will be at 1 p.m. in NC2. The nice thing about the We're Listening sessions is it is a smaller community setting, more informal. An informal setting, so that residents have an opportunity to ask us pretty much any question you want, except maybe our natural hair color. But what we find in them is that we learned a lot from you about what's on your mind. And for the most part, we're able to answer your questions. If not, we get the answers at a later date. But we also find out some things that are really of concern to you. So it's an important two-way conversation that we really enjoy, and we know a number of the residents have too. So for those of you who are available this Thursday, we hope to see you there. So with that, I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Right. Thank you very much.